Hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at the Dimitri Bergh Generation 2 darts from Target, 90% tungsten, and they're available in 21, 23 and 25 grams. And having looked at the Bergh darts this week in 25 grams, I've gone for something at the other end of the spectrum. So we're looking at the 21s today. I'm really impressed with the Dimitri 95Ks and I'm getting on really well with those. So I thought it'd be quite nice to sort of take, if you like, a retrograde step into the standard range and pick up some Generation 2s. So let's take a quick look at them, see what we get inside the box, throw a few, see how we get on, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Let's go. Okay then, let's take a look at these Dreammaker Dimitri Bergh Generation 2 darts from Target. 90% tungsten, and as you can see these ones are in 21 grams, and they come complete of course with the flights, the stems, the barrels, and indeed the 26mm removable Swiss points with the Swiss point tool, as you could see there. I really do like this colour scheme. It's quite unusual, but I love the way that it does match the Pro Grip stems just there. And the barrels aren't very grippy. You can see there's quite an area of non-marked area of the barrel and a little bit of circular milling around the sort of rear end, and then the rest of it is fairly straightforward. These are pre-owned, so will have softened down a little bit with use, I would imagine, but they don't look too grippy for me, and that's kind of what I like. I reviewed some Bergh just recently and they were very, very grippy and probably not to my taste, but I think these ones might just suit me, you know. Admittedly, I'd normally go for a slightly heavier dart, but I can see that there's a little bit of grip at the back, and obviously there's a nice closer look at the front grip just there. And again, it's horses for courses, but for me I tend to put the thumb just towards the stem and put a couple of fingers sort of about 20% of the way up the barrel, so I reckon this could be quite nice for me. I'm looking forward to throwing these. And speaking of which, let's give them a throw then. All I've done is replace the stems and flights with ones of the same size, but I want to protect the original ones and keep them in the collection, so I'll use these gnarly little number 2 flights for now. But you can see straight away that they're flying really nicely actually. They've got the same sort of trajectory, they're not all over the place, well not for me anyway, managing to keep them in a fairly straight line when I'm just going for the 20s here. Just getting a feel for them. And I think really for me, although I hold them kind of towards the rear with my thumb and a bit forward with my fingers, as I said in the intro, these feel like they've got equal amounts of grip pretty much everywhere, and they feel like quite a nice balanced dart. I reckon you could throw these for any type of grip really. So now I've just gone for a K-Flex just to see, again the same spec, number 2 short, to see how that changes them. And I think it's made them actually slightly less stable initially, just until I get used to them, but it does appear that they are at least again following the same sort of trajectory. So I'm going to speed them up with some number 6 K-Flexes in short now, just have a little go with those for a comparison. And again, just getting used to them, especially as they're quite light, so they're a bit more susceptible to changes in the flight shape and things like that as well. But again, not flying too badly. Just watching the footage back here, and they are following the same sort of path, which is good. So just going to flatten them down a little bit with some intermediate K-Flexes in number 2, because they were a bit standy uppy. I'm just flattening them down a touch so I can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. But what I'm noticing about these darts is they are tunable. You know, using the different flights and stems is making subtle differences, as you would expect, but they're still flying quite nice and true. And I'm just going to bling them up a little bit with some 26mm points off my Rob Cross 95Ks. Same length as the standard Bergh Gen 2s, but just thought I'd have a little bit of fun with those. And you can see actually I'm finding some of the 20s at least, which is good. And they've settled down quite nicely. I mean, I've only been playing with these now, look, for about 15 minutes or so, and just a few minutes on each setup, and already I'm getting some double treble visits, which is kind of encouraging. So I think once I get to grips with these a bit more, I should be able to, you know, play fairly well with them, I think. So yeah, I'm really enjoying playing with these and the time I've spent with them so far, and I'll definitely be using them some more. So there we go then, that's a quick look at the Dimitri Bergh Generation 2 darts from Target. I've got to say, I've only spent a little bit of time with them today, but I love them. They're a little bit light, yes, and a bit floaty when I'm used to something nearer 23. But I tell you what, they are just such lovely darts. They feel really balanced. There isn't a great deal of grip, but what grip there is surprisingly uniform along the barrel length. And as I say, they're well balanced, so I was trying to throw them from the front, the rear, and indeed the centre of the barrel, and they were flying really nice either which way. Tried a few flights, as you saw there, and they're just one of those darts that I reckon you can spend some time with and actually hone in on, and they're really fun. I'm excited to play with them, I've got to say. And it's really nice when you find a dart that brings a smile to your face, where you're like, you know, oh, let me just throw three more, let me just throw three more. And they were very much like that. So I've really enjoyed playing with them today. I'm just so pleased to have them in the collection, and I'll definitely be using them again. As I say, they're not massively grippy. They're not as grippy as the 95Ks, for example, and they're certainly nowhere near as grippy as the Bergh ones that I looked at yesterday. So do go back and look at that video if you get a chance. So if you like a dart that's well balanced, not too grippy, could be thrown from anywhere really on the barrel, that's got Swiss point, 90% tungsten, what's there not to like? So thanks very much indeed for watching. Please subscribe, check out some of our other videos, and I'll be back soon. But all the best for now. Bye bye.